Now.
Welcome to the Campground Catalyst Podcast, the show dedicated to fueling success in outdoor hospitality. Whether you're an outdoor adventurer, a campground owner, or looking to build your legacy in outdoor hospitality, you're right where you need to be. We're here to guide you through the fascinating world of campground management, unique real estate strategies, and the gratifying opportunities created by outdoor hospitality. Our mission is to inspire and equip you with the knowledge and insights you need to build a successful business and create a legacy worth leaving. The Campground Catalyst Podcast is proudly sponsored by Beyonder Camp, your trusted outdoor hospitality experts. Subscribe now, join our active online community, and let's ignite our passions and potential together.
So you're considering RVing, whether it be for a weekend, whether it be full-time like myself. We want to dive into the essentials that you need for your road trip here in our Adventure Bound segment of Campground Catalyst. I'm joined by my co-host, Don Spafford, Justin Hoggett, Adam Lundy, myself, Robert Earl. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Excellent.
Fantastic. So we're going to jump into this list of items that you need, and I have to kick it off because the first item you need if you're going to hit the road is the new wristband that Beyonder Camp has. This is our cashless opportunity that we have at our parks for you to be able to have a credit card associated with it, but you'll be able to go in and use your wristband, be able to buy items at the store. Shameless plug, I know, but if you're going to be camping in the 2024 season, this is the item that you need.
Yeah. Or more importantly, give them to your kids so they don't come bothering you for $1 to go buy an ice cream or something. Yeah,
it's also a fashion statement too.
Yes, they're fantastic. So you need this, your Eclipse glasses. We've got you covered here at Beyonder. But guys, all kidding aside, but that is reality what we have going on. What are your essential items that you know that you need for camping?
I'm going to share my number one. I'm just going to go with one first, and I'll let you guys jump in on more. When I bought my RV, that thing was like as bare bones, bland as you could possibly imagine, rolling off the assembly line. It had, an outdoor kitchen, which was an essential for me. I wanted an outdoor kitchen, be able to go cook outside, but it had like this silly little Coleman stove wannabe thing that folded up in it, and it was all kind of janky. I ripped that thing out and I put a Blackstone griddle in. The best purchase I'd made. So that's my number one item that everybody needs to put in their RV.
I have my checklist here, so I'm making sure we cover them. Okay, so we got the Blackstone. Most definitely have to have the Blackstone. Mine even has a backpack, so I can carry it if I need to come out from it. Okay, what else do we need?
Well, my setup has changed and evolved over time. Back when I was full-timing, definitely a lot of different things there. But now it all kind of depends on space a little bit too. What can you fit in your camper? But for me, I'm going to go simple on this, and it's outdoor chairs. We're set to be outside. I know that there's all sorts of special kinds, and I've got them all. And my favorite is the Stargazer chair. It's perfect. It sets up and leans back. Like perfect campground chair.
We even have them for the puppies. So we have a chair for the puppies, and then we got footstools. The next thing you know, the puppies wanted to sit on the footstools, and we ended up having to get specific footstools for the puppies. So yes.
Your dogs aren't that big. How small are those Ottoman?
Both 17-pound little perfect RV dogs. So it's perfect for them. They love jumping up there, and then they want to be part of the action as well.
Yeah.
Great. Don, what do you got?
Boy, well, so I'm the one of the group here who's really not much of a full-time RVer, but some things that I do go camping quite a bit. I've gone camping my whole life with the Boy Scouts and with my son and whatnot. But the good thing to, I guess, consider is proper the things you're going to need, like your clothing for the right weather. You got a coat for your rain jacket, all those kind of things for the inclement weather. If you're, depending if you're cooking on a Blackstone griddle or if you're going to be cooking on a campfire, having the right utensils for that as well. I've been in plenty of scout campouts where we just dumped a bunch of rice into a pot and had to go with that because we didn't really have the right things to cook the right things, or just foil to make s'mores and whatnot. So plan ahead for the things you want to actually do, and have the right utensils there for it.
What's
Great.
next on your list, Robert?
Well, I'm going to jump in and get a little bit more serious because I do have my trusty list that I've made here of experience. First thing I'm going to list after my wristband is going to be my Garmin GPS. I've got to have a GPS that's specific for my RV rig. And that means that I need to be able to put in my height requirements. I need to be able to put in my weight because the way in which it's going to route me is going to be completely different than if I just try to use my Google. There are other apps that you can use, but you get up in the area where Don's at up by the Tetons, Yellowstone. You cannot count on GPS being there versus having or having phone signal versus having the GPS. So that's something that I definitely would list on that. A second part that's kind of similar to it. We do all of our route planning through RV Life and through the RV Trip Wizard. It gives an opportunity. All of our Beyonder camps are listed on there, but it gives me an opportunity to put in what my desired route is. It lets me know about gas stations along the way. When we had a 38-foot diesel, we had to pull into diesel fill-ups, and we had to know that we had enough clearance and that we couldn't just pull into any old gas station. The RV Trip Wizard allows us to know that information. Also provides great reviews on the campgrounds. That's why we enjoy having our campgrounds that are listed on there. So that's something that goes through it. How do you guys plan your trips if you're thinking about doing that? Is it a spreadsheet? Is it what is the information do you use?
We've got a very technical system in my family. So what we do is, we're going to go camping on a Friday. Friday morning, I go pick up the RV from storage. I bring it home. I throw everything in, and we hit the road, and we don't think about where we're going to get water. So I got my wife while we're driving, trying to find a place that a dump station that's got water to get. So we're not very great about it. We're fortunate enough that we've got a low enough travel trailer that too many bridges aren't a big concern for us. Bridges and tunnels, we can generally get through and under. So I'm not the best for that, but it sounded like Justin might have had something.
Yeah, I was going to kind of echo the same thing as you, Adam. I'm not a huge planner. We did sort of plan our trip around the nation, but I can certainly attest to what Robert was saying. We went through some areas in New York that you're like, oh shit, how did I get in this area? Oh, excuse my language, but Apple's going to ding me. But I can also tell you that some of the most stressful times in travel trailer or fifth wheel, some big rigs, is where you have to know where to get gas, because there is nothing worse than pulling off the highway, not knowing where you're going, which is typical, and then ending up at a dead end road and trying to figure out how to either A, turn around, or B, get into the gas station you thought you could get into and you can't. So certainly a stressful situation. I've never had the GPS solution that Robert's your most essential piece there, but yeah, it's really just going down the road. And we have some really powerful apps in the community. Allstays is one that I've used in the past, and they have great water locations, dump locations, things that are kind of essential to us as road warriors.
Fantastic. Well, you're talking about being on the road. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I was saying it was kind of timely as you mentioned that GPS thing with that, counts for the height and whatnot. It was literally like a week ago. We had here where I'm at in Idaho Falls, a semi truck going under an underpass of a train bridge, hit the bridge, flipped the semi trailer over, and of course blocked traffic for that area for hours. But I was just thinking in my mind, like, what the heck is it? Does obviously the driver didn't know his own height of his rig. He was pulling to not pay attention to the height requirements. But having a GPS system like that guides you the right way to not have to guesstimate. It's like, oh, is it going to make it by an inch or whatever? It just take a different route completely to not even have that risk at all.
Or timely at the time of this recording, the Baltimore bridge that got taken out by the cargo ship the other day, right? Like somebody didn't know the height of that ship, huh?
Yeah.
There's a 13.9 bridge or overpass just south of Memphis. I drove underneath it yesterday. So, and when you're sitting at 13.6, That's like, okay, suddenly size matters. Okay. When you're also driving down the road, a tire pressure monitor system is something that would be a nice gear and gadget to have. It's a nicety, but the recent fifth wheel that we got, it comes equipped with that, and making sure that you're checking that and that you have a repeater so that it's not just monitoring, but you're able to see that within the truck or the cab of your RV. That's something that's very, very important to have. So I put those things in there. My next Christmas list or on my next birthday list is going to be a dash cam. It's never about what I'm doing with the rig. I'm worried just as much about, and if you're thinking about getting an RVing, know that you're going to get cut off. You're going to have people that think that you can stop on a dime, and they're going to take their little Hyundai, their little Kia, and they're going to pull right in front of you and then slam on their brakes. And you have a rolling earthquake behind you that you're trying to stop immediately. So that those are a couple items that I know. I want to take care of the tires, and I also want to have proof of something that goes on.
Well, you talk about that. The backup cam for me is imperative. That's always been my favorite tool. I might get in trouble, but I can't trust my wife when she's like, "Come on, keep coming back, keep coming." Like, well, she forgot about the other side of the trailer, or how far. Like, I'm sorry, but I like to see, like, okay, you're getting close, right? And that backup cam is imperative, especially when you've got trees and picnic tables or whatever, and some of the angles that you have to get into these sites. Like, you better have that, in my opinion.
Or how about when they're back there telling you turn it left and you're on a trailer? So you mean turn my wheels left, or you want the trailer to go left? Like, tell me what you mean. Yeah, the camera's
right,
nice.
Wax,
you can get in there.
Wax on or wax off, right? Which direction are we going? For those of us that do trust or have the communication that goes on, walkie-talkies. That's something to have, and because you think you can have cell phone service. You haven't connected to the Wi-Fi. You don't have the phone, especially if you're going to look at boondocking, etc. And we've had it in one or two cases where it's been getting out of the truck stop, where you've needed to have somebody get out, and having that walkie-talkie or that line of communication is very, very important to go there. I'm going to talk about a couple things that once you actually arrive at the campground itself, that would be great protection for you. Two of them, I'm going to lump them together. One is a surge protector for your power, whether it be built into your rig or something that you actually plug into, and make sure that it gives you the proper lights and make sure that you're not having a surge to plug into. As a campground operator, I always love when I walk out and somebody says I'm having an electrical problem and they don't have a GPS. I mean, a surge protector, and you're like, well, how do you know that? What's going on? How do you really know? Another one is a brass pressure regulator. Having a pressure regulator of the water. Within the course of the day, the water pressure at the park can change, and you don't want your pipes being blown out because there's an extra surge of water or extra pressure that comes on, or the way that you use the water yourself that's in it. I've seen it time and time again that people have blown out their own pipes, and now you're supposed to have a nice, relaxing week or weekend, and you end up looking for a mobile tech.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll echo that.
Okay. A couple things of packing the unit itself. I love clear bins. I love anything that's clear so that I know what goes into it. If it's under the rig, I'm going to recommend a particular type. Home Depot has them, and so does Amazon, the Husky brand, because they come with a clear top, so that when the items are put in there, I don't know where anything is in this rig. My wife has it all perfectly organized, but I do know that I know the general area of something, and I can look in a bin. It also helps us from the relationship standpoint of I'm not opening up every bin and dumping it all out to try to find something. So having the clear bins and the same thing inside for cooking or for utensils, it sure saves a lot of frustration. I'm there to have fun. I mean, I'm out to have fun. And Don, you were talking about the utensils that you need, etc. I want to know where they're at, and I want to be able to easily be able to spot them and see them. And anything you guys do to maximize the space?
For me, being a weekend warrior, space isn't so much the concern. We're typically cramming way more stuff in than we should. We're throwing paddle boards in the back. We're throwing bikes in, and we're filling everything up. But keeping things organized inside has always been a challenge for us, and we really resort to using a lot of baskets. Baskets are good because you've got all the cabinets, and you end up putting all your stuff in, and you hit a few bumps and turns in the road, and next thing you know, you got olive oil spilling all over the inside of the cabinet because it fell over, and your spices are everywhere. So, we've tried a lot of different solutions, but baskets have been one of my favorite just for keeping stuff where you want them to be.
Yeah, having those in there.
And the, maybe not organization, but keeping you organized, like that fridge door seems to always fly open. So baby lock straps that you put on the side of the cabinet and put it to the fridge, because whatever the manufacturer's everything, I don't know, the manufacturer never has designed a solution to keep those refrigerator doors shut. I can't tell you how many times I've had eggs and just general items fly out of the fridge on the floor. You open up the rig when you get there, and you're like, Same with the cabinet doors, making sure that the latches are set. I can't tell you how many slides I've broken from, or part of the slide, trims and cables and everything else, just because doors have popped open and gotten stuck when the slides go out, making sure that those stay shut. And so little extra tools that aren't typically provided by the manufacturer to make sure that things are staying shut when you're in travel. Because as we say, those rigs are like going through an earthquake at 65, 75 miles an hour for hours on end. So there's something bound to show up when you get to the campsite.
Small little Velcros, bungee cords, those types of things, and then shims to be able to get through a toolkit inside and outside, because some of the items you can't get to until the slides are actually out. So you need to be able to get to some of those, at least basic screwdrivers, those types of things that are there. I like to also talk about, once you've arrived, is if you're going to be there for any period of time, is shading. On our Class A, we invested in having the Magna shade. That's the shade that goes over the whole front. It really would truly cut down on the temperature by about 20, 25 degrees. In the current rig that we got, making sure that these shades have backing, some sort of backing. They come installed with it. But if you get into some of the areas, even up into Wisconsin in the summer, you're going to have that sun beating down on one side of the rig for a period of time, and you don't want your electric bill to go through the roof, or you don't want the electric to be running that whole time. Who wants to sit and listen to that as well as you're trying to go through? I talked about temperature, and I'll throw this one in there as well. We make the investment of having a system called Waggle. And you're probably going, what's Waggle? Waggle is a monitoring system that we have in the rig that lets us know the temperature of the rig. It lets us know if something is going on, because if we do need to run to the grocery store, we're not taking our pups with us every single time. So making that investment into the Waggle so that we know, was there an electrical outage? Did the air conditioner go out? Was there something that occurred? At least we then have enough time to be able to to get back to the rig and get them out of it, because if that rig just sits for that long period of time, that temperature is going to get well over 90, 100 degrees. And we don't want to leave our puppies in that. So it just gives that extra peace of mind. And it was something that it took us a couple months, but we saw that at one of the RV shows, and we were like, we've got to have that. And it has 2 or 3 times paid off and given us notifications that we otherwise wouldn't have had.
Yeah, good feedback. I'll share one that's one of my favorite upgrades I've done to my unit. So if anybody's got a little bit of electrical know-how, this is something you can pretty easily implement. But I put dimmer switches on my lights. These new RVs nowadays have these magnificent LED lights inside. You can see Robert's lighting looks amazing. It looks like he's in a studio, but oftentimes it's push on, push off buttons or a switch that turns them on. And there's nothing more, no more rude awakening than getting up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and you got 1,000 lumens, overhead, blasting your eyes, or waking up early in the morning. So I bought these little dimmers. It was like a 2-pack for like $20 online, and I wired them into mine. So it's a touch dimmer, and as you hold it, it dims the lights up or dims the lights down. It took me about half an hour to put them in. Fantastic. One of the best investments I made.
Well, I thought you were going to beat me to it, but I was going to say solar. The electrical know-how. I know Adam's system. He did his own way, and it works phenomenally. I can't believe how well he did on that. I have done 2 systems in the past on my fifth wheel and travel trailer. This time around, I paid for the upgrade. Very happy about that. We, admittedly like to go boondocking. We like to go to locations that we can't plug in. So having that a little extra security has allowed us to camp in a lot of locations and have full power for our trip. And obviously that's pretty important when you're talking about, well, now fridges are 12-volt fridges. So keeping that running the entire time, your lights, your furnace, especially like in the desert when sometimes we go and it gets pretty chilly at night. So having that solar has been imperative for us.
Yeah, good point. I wasn't going to mention the solar is something that anybody with a little electrical know-how could do, because I'll tell you, I did some brain damage figuring mine out and how that was going to work with the inverter and everything else. But yeah, good solar. I mean, if you're going to be either traveling somewhere, we're going to be stopping overnight and maybe, somewhere that there aren't hookups, or if you like to go boondocking like we like to do and just go disappear sometimes and get away from everything, it's really nice to be able to run your 120 volt accessories on your, inverter and be able to keep everything electric running. Because it's amazing when you buy your first RV and it's got a battery up in the front, it's got a battery. You don't realize that battery is not really there to run that thing. It does a very minimal amount. I think the first time we bought our trailer and we went boondocking with it, that battery was dead by midnight and our heater wouldn't run. It was very cold in the morning.
And it sucks to have to jump your trailer to pull the slides in.
Been there.
Yeah.
And the battery's never in the right condition to be able to get to them with the jumper cables. Both of the items you brought up, the dimmers, the solar, all of those items, I took care of that as well. You know how I took care of it? I signed for it because it was already included in the unit that I was looking for. So I made sure that those were items that I wanted to have, and they're just the niceties, especially when you're spending the time in it full time. Speaking of full time, we do have also it's not a hard shell, but it's a soft shell fireproof safer container, because we do have our documents with us. We do have our passport. We do have all of the registration information. We have all of the vet visits for the pups. Now, you can imagine with us as well, it's online, and we have a lot of it online, but there is information that we have that still is in the paper form. And being a full-timer, we want to make sure that we have it. And there's probably about 50% of the documents over some time in the last 2 years that we've had to refer to or get information or be able to prove something, and having the paper copy is something that we don't want to get damaged as it goes through. And then waterproof materials. When Don, you were talking about weather, those types of things. We have a tarp just in case. We have bags that we need just in case something happens, to be able to get that out of the unit and get it into a bag and sealed off, because we don't want everything else to be damaged. So it's those are some of the gear, the gadgets. Anything else that you guys have that would be on your Christmas list for the upcoming year, or that you would say somebody has to have, or have we pretty much covered the list?
Well, there's always more, I know, and I'd have to go through my Amazon list to figure out all the little gadgets I've purchased along the way. I've certainly had a lot. One thing to add to the water pressure is a water filter system. And, I'm a little bit of fanatic on good, clean water. I believe in a good water filter. There's all sorts of solutions out there. Full timers, if you're parked for a little while longer, there's bigger systems, or you can go with a single easy hookup solution, but just a little added security to the filters or the water systems out there, because it is a water or it is an RV park, and oftentimes the properties are utilizing a well system. The water could be a little bit unreliable, I'd say, and you just never know. So having that little extra.
Great point.
I'll throw in two last things. One is another one must have, and another is on my Christmas wish list. The must have, Justin actually gave me the idea on, and that is a simple door latch to hold your door open. Because on those nice summer evenings, boy, you want to leave that door open, but if there's a little bit of wind and it slams that thing shut on you, that's a real bummer. So, I think that was a $20 part. Screws onto the door, screws on the outside. You toggle it together, it holds the door open. Fantastic. The want for me is better stairs. I've got a travel trailer that's got the typical tumble up, fold in stairs, and they're really shaky and not super stable. I've had a couple older dogs now that have had real trouble with those. And, I've looked at I think they're called the Glow Step Revolution. I bet anybody who's got a camper knows that one. They pull out like an accordion. So it's got a set number of stairs and you pull it to the ground. That's on my list, but it's like $500. And I just haven't been able to justify that one yet.
But you remind me, Adam, definitely like the very first thing I bought when I got the new trailer was another keypad for my door. Absolute must for my family. Who wants to carry around keys for their camper? Obviously, you want to secure when you're out and about, and having a good keypad solution where everyone knows the code, easy to get in, easy to lock, great little tool for your door. It's
actually a really good point too. That most RVs use the same key. Is that what you're going to say, Robert?
Exactly. Yeah. They have the same one, and that you're able to have the code and know that you have the access. So having the push button, that's something that definitely we put in. We put stair toppers because of one of the pups to make them slick, and for myself, frankly, to have that. And then ours tip up so that all the dirt comes off of them first before you lift them up. So that's also something that the new brand, the new Brinkley that we have, has those items. I think so. Doing your research, having the items, you can spend far too much money. There's a couple core essentials that you need. You don't need to go out and get everything that we've listed. We probably listed about 30 items. You don't need to spend all the money on doing that, but think about what types of trips you're going to make and be able to do this. If you've got questions, or we'd love to hear what your favorite item or your next gadget is going to be. We have a Patreon community. We'd love to hear from you. If there's items that we need to be stocking in our stores as Campground, we'd love to hear about that as well. So drop that into the Patreon community. We'd love to hear it. Thank you for listening to this adventure-bound segment of Campground Catalyst, and we'll see you down the road.
All right.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Campground Catalyst Podcast, where we take you behind the scenes in the fun and gratifying world of outdoor hospitality. We hope you were inspired by today's show and better equipped to take the next steps in your journey. Remember, you can continue the conversation and connect with fellow enthusiasts by visiting our website and joining the Campground Catalyst community on Patreon at campgroundcatalyst.com. There, Patreon members get exclusive access to special listener perks, they get their opportunity to engage with the host, and they get their questions answered on one of our future upcoming shows. The Campground Catalyst Podcast is proudly sponsored by Beyonder Camp, your trusted partner in fueling your success in outdoor hospitality. Until next time, keep both your campfires and your passions burning.